Awesome, thank you. Yeah, we're going to start that one, I guess, in the beginning, yeah? Alright. Someone wanted me to read from Comfort My People, which is a good book. This one is 1968, Sheed and Ward. The author wishes to thank the editors of The Critic for permission to reprint 2 chapters which first appeared in their pages. Library of Congress Catalog Card Number 68-26037. But how do we understand? Page 93. Our culture prides itself, at times, on its inability to communicate. It struggles with communication on a personal and global level, and celebrates its disastrous failures in its black arts and politics. It struggles with communication on a personal and global level, and celebrates its disastrous failures in its black arts and politics. There is a Parkinsonian flavor to the increase in the medium and decrease in the message. Everybody seems to be talking, singing wistful folk songs, or listening to assaulting transistor radios. And still the question remains, why should a process which should be so simple and for which such extraordinary instrumentation is now available, be at once so complex and constantly frustrating? Throughout the Church, the desire for richer and fuller communication is expressed on every side. Priests and religious, having discovered their right to be persons, insist now on being communicated with in a genuinely personal way. They demand this as the fixed postures that passed for life. They demand this as the fixed postures that passed for life have fallen away, that passed for life have fallen away, and left them exposed to ponder the real values of being human. Okay, yeah, that's beautifully written. This is an experience many sensitive laymen have known for a long time. It was not only difficult for them to raise their voices, but many in the Church questioned whether the laity had a right to open their mouths at all about the mysteries of Christianity and their role in the Church. Many bishops have tried to open up some kind of communicative language dialogue with their priests, and people only too find that it is far from a simple process. Effective communication is cited more than anything else at first step in deepening the relationships of the persons who constitute the people of God. Cheers. It is probably because communication was so stiffly formalized and channeled in earlier years that we were caught unprepared for the complexities that arise when human beings really want to talk to each other. Preparation, we were talking about that. We're not big planners, but preparation is very important. Genuine listening is not just listening to the words that a person speaks. Real communication is achieved. Real communication is achieved when the whole message that the person is conveying from every level of his being is sensitively perceived and responded to by the person to whom it is directed. There is a redemptive quality in any interaction in which a person feels that he has really been heard by the other. This is true when a layman speaks to his priest, and when a priest speaks to his bishop, or even when the bishops together speak to the Pope. The crucial element is not simply that they get their way. The crucial element is not simply that they get their way. They may be prepared for a refusal when they enter into dialogue with the other person. What is essential is that the substance of their communication is not blocked, or turned aside, or disregarded. If it is, they feel treated as something other than a person. Their frustration mounts, and the harvest of enemies that goes with non-communication is reaped once more, as we've seen so often. Most of us have learned some style of communication which has a built-in set of expectancies that have been derived from our previous experience. We have been through this before. We have been through all this before. We say, as we listen to the decree, to the dreary banter at a cocktail party, we have mastered the art of seeming to participate in the conversation we do not have to listen to. We have mastered the art of seeming to participate in the conversation we do not have to listen to. Sometimes we need not even speak, since a judicious nod of the head, a few grunts, and an invitation to have another drink may carry one a long way in this social situation. We have learned to defend ourselves against communicating freely with everybody. This is a process which starts early and which is quite understandable. We do not tell the neighbors our business. Neither do we admit to every salesman that our mother is at home, or give away freely to any inquirer the vital statistics of our life, our income potential, or our secret hopes and desires. Man must defend himself against the world constantly communicating with him in order to persuade him to buy this car, that cigarette, or this outboard motor. Added to this, if man does not communicate with other people to reveal what is wrong with himself, he likes to maintain at least a fairly respectable self-image. If it is at all possible, he will attempt to improve it in the eyes of others. In every normal person's life, there is a large quota of white lies, mild exaggeration, and carefully touched up reproductions of the past. There is a certain chemistry we work on, our own personal theories, that there is a certain chemistry we work on our own personal histories that blots out what is ugly and painful, while it adds gold to all the sunsets and blue to all the skies. There is a whole range of needs related to our perception of ourselves that strongly affects what we see and hear in relationship to others. The man we describe as a pessimist, for example, immediately sees everything that can go wrong. The optimist, looking at the same situation, sees its bright promise and wants to move forward. What they see as they gaze at the scene reveals more about them than about what they are even looking at. What was called the new look in perceptual research in psychology 20 years ago has pointed to the internal factors that affect so deeply our perception of the world around us. These same factors then also affect our communication, since it is geared to what we perceive in the person and events of our lives. We bring our life history to any relationship with another. We communicate far more of ourselves than we suspect to the individual who is sensitive and who can read the signs, whether they are in our quivering hands or our strident tones. Man cannot communicate. Man cannot not communicate. He communicates with all that he is. Even when he is saying nothing or looking away, it is an extremely complex phenomenon, human communication, because it involves such deep levels of our being and occurs in so many forms other than verbal. A large part of our difficulty in communication is that we have focused so exclusively on the verbal aspect of our interaction with others. The words, however, are sought and spoken only to express something of what we are experiencing in a more total fashion throughout our person. The words, when used by a Shakespeare, reflect all the fine shading of human experience in a way that illuminates and enriches us. Unfortunately, not every man is a poet, and the effort to translate what he feels into words that he can use effectively is quite arduous at times. You're welcome. Thank you. Yes, we're going to actually be starting this one from front to back, and someone wanted me to start a Columbia University series from front to back, so I said I would attempt that. Yeah, the medieval song and story one. You're welcome. Thank you. Hopefully. Yeah, it's actually, no, we're not live on X at the moment. No, we are just doing a video. We're going to post it on YouTube, so you'll see that come up in a few minutes. You're welcome. Probably later we're going to start both of those, front to back. Yes, I already took it off. You can still see remnants of it. I didn't do a good job. I just gotta buff it out. I got the little buffer thingy. Yeah. It just felt like they were suffocating. Sometimes I can handle it for a day or two or a few days. Sometimes longer, and let it chip away over a week's time. I don't know, just sometimes the moment I put it on, they're suffocating. I guess it depends on the weather. I don't know what it is. Could be me. It's probably just me. Yeah, probably gonna go out for a few minutes. It looks so nice.